come off peacefully, you just got to break it off. You don't get upset, you just don't get frustrated. It just doesn't help. Get the paint out of there. If it's not going to come out, you just got to break it, that's all. Well, you know what? We'll just have to break it, that's all. Just break it out. Break it out. There we go. There's part of it. So break them out. That's why you break it out. Okay. Let's check it with my tester, make sure it's off. See how they stripped the wire and left insulation there that got under the screw? That's not good. You see how they got the insulation under the screw head here? That's not good either. Okay. Oh, give it a nice clean strip here. And shorten it up a little bit. Get the junk off here. We'll straighten our wires out. And we'll clip them a little bit shorter because we don't need quite that long. If you look closely here, the outlets are made here in the country I was born in. That's a nice thing to see. So we'll close the screws we're not using. The black goes on the brass screw, the white goes on the silver screw, and the bare wire goes on the green screw. Black is live, brass is live, narrow slot, white is neutral, silver screw, and that's the wider slot. So we'll hook our white wire onto the silver screw here. Make sure it's tight. Make sure it's snug. And we'll Okay. You always put your wire around the screw, the direction your screw turns. And there we go, that's what we want. Our copper's under the screw head all the way around, so go down, and we'll go up with our black and our white, like that. We'll keep our ground wire down here at the bottom. I see the ground wire is staying down away from everything here. I'll center it on our box so it looks nice. Make sure it's tight. 1, 2. Now we'll go into our other one. Grab my tester and make sure it's off. Okay, it's off. Okay, this has older wire on it, so we're going to take the top one is the black. And as you can see, it's around the screw the wrong direction. See how they put it around the screw backwards? And we'll flip it down. They had the white wire on the screw the right direction. We'll just take these. Okay, this black wire is very, very short, so I'm going to put a nice, well, I'm going to be able to use this wire. So see that black tracer? That's your live wire. And there, the ground is grounding through the box, so we'll close all the screws you're not going to be using. So we'll hook our black one up first. You always put your wire around the screw, the direction your screw turns. Here we go. Our copper's under the screw head all the way around, so we'll just flip it around. See that black tracer there? That tells you that's the live wire. We'll bring it around this way. We'll put our white on the silver screw. Now the other thing, if there's no ground, we can put a GFI breaker in the panel or on the first outlet of the circuit. So we'll make sure, we'll see if this is grounded through the box, and if it is, good. But if it's not, we'll just put a GFI in the breaker box. Make sure it's tight. Make sure our insulation's not pinched there. Thank God that I can't see very well. Looks like it's pinched a little bit. So I'm gonna loosen it up. Open the loop. I'll get that little bit of insulation I couldn't get there. There we go. There we go. Make sure it's tight. Now we can put our screws into our box here. And the screw gun. We'll tighten it by hand so we don't strip our holes out. Okay, 1, 2, and we'll stick our cover on. That screw is stripped, so I'm going to take my Phillips and I'm going to force this strip screw out. There we go, we got it to come out. And this one has very old wire on it. So we're going to have to put some tails on here. So the top one is the live one because it's on the brass colored screw. I'm going to straighten our wires out. I'm going to take my flashlight and see which one has the black tracer on it. And it looks like that outlet was hooked up backwards, so this one's the neutral and the bottom one is the live. So we'll cut this a little shorter here. We'll get some tail wires. So we'll strip our black wire, about the same length as the wire we're hooking up to. Now, since this wire is so old and crumbly, I'm not going to twist them. I'm just going to get them lined up here so that they're even like this. Get our wire nut in here. Make sure they're even. And we'll just turn our wire nut. Make sure our insulation is going up into the bottom there. I don't want to crumble that old insulation. And this is our neutral wire here. How long is that? I'll see if there's any. I'll take a smidgen off of that one. See if it's about the same length. It's about the same length there. I'll take a smidgen longer because it's about a 1/16 of an inch longer, so I'll take a little more. Alright, so I'll get them even here. See, I get the insulation even at the bottom and the copper even at the top. Stick my cap on here. Start turning it, make sure it grabs both wires. I'm not going to go too crazy tight because I don't want to crumble that insulation in there. Okay, so we'll get our wires back into our box here. And hook our new outlet up. Take off about an inch. We'll close the screws we're not using so they don't touch something we don't want them to touch. Okay, so we'll put our white onto our silver screw. Make sure it's nice and tight, like that. Down here we'll get our black on our brass color screw. You always put your wire, that's a little long, so I'll just take a smidgen off here. You always put your wire around the screw, the direction your screw turns. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight, and it looks like that. Now we can go into our box. We'll go back and forth like an accordion here. Oh, look how my wire moved. That's not good. The screw was tight. It's tight. And our copper's not. I'm going to move that up, so I'm going to loosen it. Bring it up the way we want it here. Okay, so we're going to push this back into our box now. I'm going to hold it here so it goes in the way we want it. So we'll screw this in and we will be all done. We'll stick our covers on here. Alrighty, so I'm going to tighten these screws up here so get it in here the way we want it. And make sure it's nice and tight so it doesn't touch anything we don't want it to touch. And we'll put our cover on and it will look really nice. We'll get it nice and snug here. Okay, tight. And we'll tighten this one. Make it tight. Now we'll just stick our cover on here. Okay, we'll get it in here like that. So we'll make it on here nice and tight. And there we go. Alrighty, so that is how to replace wall receptacles here in the country I was born in. We use a 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. Peace. Thanks for watching. And again, I want to mention that if you have a 3-prong outlet, you have to put on a 2-wire circuit. You just have to make sure that circuit is protected by a GFI circuit